Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Asaad Anjum and I would be the Chief Operating Officer from this day on. The reason why this presentation has been called to order and the reason why I would really appreciate and I'm thankful to the fact that you have given time for this presentation is because the company is going through drastic changes within its structure and within its policies. Now, the reason for this presentation is so that you could understand and take something out from this presentation itself and from the meeting itself so that you could have a future direction and a positive direction in which the company needs to go, and so you could understand what needs to be done and what needs not to be done so that we do not repeat our previous mistakes, we do not repeat our previous blunders, and we take a step in the right direction. Now, in order to do that, what we need to understand is Le Nature's background, the company's background itself. Some of you were actually hired recently before the fraud case was actually brought into the limelight. However, most of you, since are new, I would just bring it to your attention that the company was actually going through financial crisis. It declared bankruptcy recently, and because of that, the company lost a lot of money. And the only reason why we are focusing on revamping every single thing is to make sure that the company comes out of this hole and progresses towards a positive direction. Now, what's really important to understand is we're part of an industry where technological changes are molding our future direction. Every single company that proceeds from this point on needs to take into account all technological advancements, specifically in the world, and any new technology that is brought into our industry. Now, what we have the biggest advantage about is the fact that we have cutting-edge technology when it comes to bottled water. The two best technologies that are out there in the market right now are, as you can see, the blow mold bottle manufacturing technology and the injection mold bottle manufacturing company. As far as the blow mold manufacturing technology is concerned, that's pretty much common. Nestle uses that in most of its bottles. Then you have Aquafina that uses it in most of its bottles. Coca-Cola uses it because Aquafina is stemming out from Coca-Cola. However, the injection mold bottling manufacturing technology is the one that Le Nature actually prides itself in. It's a technology that's not shared within the industry, and it's the only technology that Le Nature has. Now, just as an overview, so that you could understand, this is a blown-up diagram of what happens through the injection mold processing. What happens is, that, as you can see in the diagram, plastic granules are pumped into this hopper. As you can see, they come in, and then through this barrel, while the barrel is rotating, the heater is turned on. The plastic granules are molten at that stage, and then they're pushed into the mold cavity. Inside the mold cavity, the pressures reach up to about 500 psi. At this stage, that's where the bottle actually forms. The twisting of this wheel, and specifically the mold, extends this into a plastic bottle which is this big. And once when I point this to you, what I actually mean is the bottle is actually just this big. Now you might be surprised to know that this bottle is so small, and how would that actually hold at least a liter of water? What happens is, once when it moves into the movable platen, this is where the air is pumped into it. And that's when the bottle actually takes its original shape. And this is a technology that, at least in our industry, is not common with our competitors. Now, the reason why we need to actually revamp our sales and our marketing policies is because of the fact that the recent sales in the US, as far as bottled water is concerned, has gone sky high. 1987, you only had 1,731 million bottles. Come 10 years later, 97, and you saw about 4,500 million water bottles. Then you go to 2007, it was 11,500. So as we can see, they've tripled over the course of time. Every single decade, they've improved 3 times. That is the reason why in 2011, it was already 11,000 again. And which clearly shows that people are either losing interest or people actually need to be brought back into the bottled water industry. Now, the reason why we have to analyze customer needs is to make sure that Le Nature actually stays on top of business strategies and make sure that its marketing policies are still the best when it comes to the industry. Through this chart, you can clearly see that only about 1/3 of the people are willing to pay 20% more when it comes to products that are made in an environmentally friendly manner. However, most of their demands at least 2/3 of their demands are actually based on prices. And that is one reason why Le Nature needs to shift its focus from primarily making environmentally friendly products to making sure that it makes products that are price friendly, so that it not only addresses the environment but also addresses customers. The reason why we actually want to analyze Nestle as a successful company when it comes to our industry is the fact that it has his success stories not only in the US but also in the Middle East, in Asia, in Southeast Asia, in China, and everywhere else. You see this in France, Perrier water, known to be coming from a spring. Nestle advertised it, Poland Spring, best bottled water in the US, cheapest water bottle in the US. Now, the reason why these have been success stories for Nestle is because of its ethical business strategies, its customer satisfaction goals, and most importantly, market differentiation. You don't see this as common in the US as you see this in France. Likewise, you don't see this as common in France as you see this in the US. So, what Nestle focused on was the fact that they wanted to make sure that they address customer needs first and then focus on the environment. But what Le Nature is going to do is focus on both simultaneously to make sure that we actually out-trump Nestle in a manner unheard of. The only way that we can do is certainly by bringing in some changes. Starting off with the name. No longer would Le Nature be called Le Nature. It's not Le Nature anymore, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Liquid Engineering. You have to have an attractive name to bring it people's attention. Liquid Engineering actually was something that I thought of when I was in the bathroom taking a shower. And the name just sounded great. And that's why we're actually going to name it Liquid Engineering. Next on, we have to change the logo. The logo, the picture, the image itself of the company has to be attractive. Anything you see that's attractive would attract attention. And after that, once the logo is handled, the slogan becomes the most important thing. If you have a good message behind the picture, people are going to be attracted. And most importantly, the public image. What we need to focus on is the fact that we need to disassociate ourselves with the fraud case so that none of the negativity that stemmed from that bankruptcy case could actually be stemmed back to us or linked to us in a manner that would hurt us again. We have to maintain our technological advantage in the future so that our injection mold technique is not copied and we can actually progress to it in a positive direction. And lastly, but surely, we need to invest in marketing, and that too through Facebook, Twitter, and all the social media that we haven't been using properly or at all when Le Nature was Le Nature. Once when it's Liquid Engineering, ladies and gentlemen, things would be different. Just as an idea, this is the new logo that the company is going to have. That was our old logo, which, as you can see, is the worst thing possible. It has nothing that could attract you. It's a bunch of letters thrown in on a blue background. This, however, is the motto that we have, pushing for perfection and liquid engineering. And that's the start that I need. That's what I expect of you, and that's why we need to progress in a positive direction for a better future. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why we need to go outside and treat people to perfected water, liquid engineering way. Thank you so much for your time.
My name's Gary.
Omi. Jason.
Boren.